Hi, everybody. It's Daniel Stiller from Better Rhodes, and we're here with another Meet the Makers series. And I'm here with Paul Tecker from H2OPS. It's a hop water. And actually, you know what, Paul? Let me turn it over to you. And can you explain the name and give us a little insight into your delicious and refreshing product?
Hey, I'd be happy to, Dan, and really happy to be a part of the Better Roads family. And just was about a year ago really happy to get that contact from you that you guys were developing something new and curating this, and great to be one of the first brands that you guys brought in. And yeah, so we're H2OPS, or H2O for water, and PS put that together, and it kind of spells hops. And we are the original craft brewed sparkling water. We launched 6 years ago, and we're kind of the one that has started this all. You know, we now have some competitors, but there's very few people out there that really know what it is. And you know, it really is just two simple ingredients. It's water and it's hops, but it's craft brewed, and the hops that we use are really special. We use the ones that have those complex flavors. We call them the aroma hops, or they do the hop farmers, those particular kind of varieties. And it's just incredibly refreshing. And you know, we're really not trying to be, you know, a non-alcoholic beer. It's something that's altogether different. Yes, hops are the magic flavor in craft beer, but it's way more refreshing, and it's because we don't have the sugary malts in there, and we don't have the yeast, which would convert it to alcohol. And so without those two, it's absolutely 0 calories, 0 alcohol, and it's also gluten-free.
Yeah, and you know, it's I'm so glad you said that. I was going to bring it up, but that is a huge question from a lot of our customers is what are the gluten-free options? And then we find a lot of our customers are in investigating this space from a wellness perspective. So it's pretty tough to beat. Let's go over it again: gluten-free, sugar-free, and calorie-free.
Right, and unsweetened. You know, a lot of times people say sugar-free, and it's just god-awful sweet with, you know, synthetic kind of sweeteners in there. And that's why I make sure that we use the word unsweetened, and it really doesn't need it. You know, the hops have this sort of just kind of surprisingly full body kind of flavor that you don't feel like you're missing anything there.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm glad you said that, because a lot a lot of sugar-free, you'll taste another artificial flavoring in there, artificial sweetener that leaves, to me, I can always taste it, and it you know, I hate to say it leaves a bad taste in your mouth, but it you know, I feel like I'm like licking the can or something. It's an aftertaste that I just don't enjoy. And speaking of enjoying, I love my favorite way to drink your product is chilled, but straight out of the bottle.
Nice.
What do you like when you picture? What's the perfect pour, the perfect environment to enjoy an H2O?
H2OPS, yeah. Yeah, you know, I think it's great to have out of the bottle, because, you know, it's just part of that, you know, ritual of holding a bottle almost like you're holding a beer, and you get those aromas. But to really, if you want the full experience, you pour it into a glass. And I really enjoy like a fluted glass that is relatively short, has a little stem on it. And then, you know, you get that, you can put it up to your nose, and you just get that bouquet, you know, of aroma and complex flavors that come from the hops. And that, you know, that's a really important part of, you know, taste is getting those sensories, you know, through your nose. You know, I think that's really the ultimate way to taste it.
Okay, so to be fair, so you can enjoy it with jeans and a t-shirt, but you can also kind of dress it up and get a little fancy with the stem glass.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. Or a pint glass, or, you know, whatever you know, love to drink your beer out of. I think, you know, it's a matter of personal preference, but, you know, something that's just, you know, wider than the opening of a beer bottle, you know, you're going to get more of those type of aromas. So that's what I would highly recommend, but, you know, definitely enjoying one right out of the bottle today. So whatever you like.
Well, whatever I like, but I'm Paul, we've talked about this before. It's actually, I really enjoy the product. It's a go-to drink for me. It's just a great, refreshing, just to me, it's a daily drinker. But I'd love to hear what kind of feedback you're getting from customers and kind of those advocates of the product and the brand.
Yeah, the feedback has been overwhelming. Like when we first started, I'll get into maybe our story originally, but we took it out to beer festivals just to get feedback from people that are just connoisseurs. Maybe they're they really know hops and they know their flavors, and they were just blown away by it. And the feedback that we get is that it's surprisingly good. I think when people think of hops,
Yeah.
some people just think of the bitterness, right? And that's traditionally what hops did, in beer. It was, when beer wasn't all about these real complex flavors and really strong flavors, in beer it was just to add a little bit of bitterness to offset the sweetness of the malts to give it some balance, right?
Okay.
And, so we just get this feedback from people that say, I don't like beer, but I love this. And we get people that just like, oh, especially people that haven't, enjoyed a beer for some time, for whatever reason, they're just like, oh my God, this is just a social reawakening. I can enjoy that flavor. I can enjoy that smell again. And they just love it. And, it's also, I think it's about, occasions too, and, for some people, actually, we did a research study and most of our consumers actually drink beer. It's not,
Wow.
it's not just people that have abstained
Yeah.
or I should say they drink alcohol. There's some great craft non-alcoholic beers out there too, but for beer drinkers, and this was my original thinking, was that hey, there's occasions for beer drinking, and there's occasions when you don't want to drink. It might be during the week. You want to get a good night's sleep. You're going to be participating in you going on a hike or doing athletics, or you got a big meeting tomorrow, and it's not the weekend, and you find it's best, not to consume alcohol, for certain times. So, or if it's at work, it can be your lunchtime beer. That's and it really kind of scratches that itch. It pairs with pizza and sandwiches. It pairs with so much food really, really well, and that's just something that we found.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because but part of the whole concept of better roads is refers to like the old English term of roads, a clearing in the woods, where we find a lot of people come here for different reasons, and that's fine. Whatever your path is, I still love a pint of Guinness, but not as much, not as often as I used to, and that's fine. And it's just I'm getting older and a little fatter. I gotta slow down. But it's when we talk about H2OPS water, I think water, even using that term, it kind of undermines how much complexity. I shouldn't say undermine, but it doesn't kind of give the full story of how much complexity is actually in the flavor. I think you kind of hit on that, but there's it's not like a sparkling water. It has at least I find it has an aroma to it, a softness to it, a complexity to it that I really enjoy. And to me it's an adult beverage. It's my kids won't drink it, and that's good. That's good for me.
That's fine. Yeah, that's really interesting. It was a unique challenge. I mean, because nobody had really ever created anything like this that we were aware of. I think that in Japan there's some references towards hop water as sort of a medicinal drink for allergies and other health things, and there were some people that were taking some hop extracts and calling it a hop water kind of thing too. But it's kind of hard to figure out, what do we name this? I mean, there's really two ingredients. There's hops and water. So it almost seems like, well, geez, hop water.
Yeah.
It's not hop soda. It's not, something else. It's not hop juice.
Yeah.
So we just tried to come up with something that would be the generic name for the category, and that's hop water. But you're right, totally. When people think of water, it's just like, it's not, it's really, to extract those kind of flavors, it's you can't just take like an extract or oil and just drop it in water and call it, oh, that's hop water. I guess you could call it that, but you're not going to get the kind of complex flavors that we get in this. And it took years of research and development, and so it's actually craft brewed. And if you're a home brewer and have done that before, you kind of know you start with the boil, And, that's kind of in beer where you're extracting the sugars from the malts. But we don't do that. But when you put the hops in at the hot phase, you get more of some of a certain more bitter and some other flavors that come out. They come out at different temperatures, right? And so we have different additions, what we call in the kettle in the hot phase. We have the dry hopping at the cold temperatures. And, there's over 100 different varieties of hops. There's bitter hops and aroma hops and Citra, Simcoe, Amarillo, Mosaic, you name it. And they all have different flavor profiles to them. And after a lot of trial and error, we have our own proprietary blend, but they happen to be the super premium hops that are most expensive, run out of stock, and you have to have a contract to be able to get them on a regular basis. So that's kind of unfortunate, but
you didn't make it easier.
That we have those contracts locked up now.
Well, right, that's great, but you definitely didn't make it easy on yourself.
No, so much easier just to add some hop oil or essence or something, like every other kind of commercialized beverage out there. And that's the cheapest, easiest thing to do, but it doesn't taste good. And, there's a lot of people talking about the benefits of hops. There's no real official claims that the FDA is allowing, but there's a lot of study for that. We're pretty much all about the flavor and enjoying that and keeping it natural and real. And so we brew with the whole hop. They're pelletized whole hops. But we feel that gives the best flavor profile. And, we think from a health and wellness standpoint, just a healthy beverage, plant-based, that's where it's at.
Well, like in this space, like you said, you've been at it for a while, but I'd love to know, how long did it take you to get to that proprietary flavor profile?
It took, to commercialize it, so my origin story is, being a home brewer for a number of years. And I heard somewhere that you can grow hops in your backyard, right? And so you get the root clippings, the rhizomes, you plant them and they come up, and in, August and September is the harvest. And, these plants, they grow, 20, 30, as tall as a house, up a rope or a string. And it's just
very unique. Like if you go by a hops field, they're very easy to identify.
Yeah. But anyway, so that was it. So I was brewing with some fresh hops in a beer, and you pick them, and I had some left over, and maybe it was the beer I was drinking at the time, or I don't know what it was, but it was just like, you're smelling them, and it's like, wow, how come this is only in beer? And I had that light bulb moment just to say, geez, let's just brew up a little batch, with just these fresh hops and see what it tastes like, and carbonate it up. And it was surprisingly good. It was just like, wow, this is actually not bad. And it's nowhere near to, the kind of beverage, if we put that in a bottle today, I don't think it would sell very well. But it was a indication of what could be. Yeah. And many years later, and figuring out, the stability and pasteurization and ways to, have a FDA safe product that can be distributed and sold, that was an undertaking. But that's the origin story, and that's how it all got started.
That's amazing. And I've talked about this before, but this space just seems to foster innovation, and I think that's just a great example of it by going beyond the traditional method, and again, that light bulb moment. But what else could this? How else could we enjoy this? How else could we experience this? And not just from a taste perspective, but it has this whole other kind of health and wellness side to it. And I think we've talked about this before, but was that an objective, or was that just like a great happenstance that from the health and wellness side?
Yeah, no, it's pretty much a happenstance. For me, I think for sure, I consider myself a moderator. I just love craft beer, and I could drink many bottles or cans in a setting back in college, or on a special occasion or something, on a weekend or on vacation. But I certainly knew that that's not good for your health and wellness, or just sleep, or just kind of feeling good. And I moderated with sparkling water. And so to me, it was just sort of like, wow, if you could put those together, that'd be something really amazing. But yeah, so I mean, that was really the motivation, was just, I love creating something new. I think that's really exciting. But what was really maybe not apparent at the time, for me, I was thinking, I didn't even know if this could even be a business. I'm like, geez, this might be great. I could impress, serve it at parties or something, or just have it for myself, because, I really, really enjoyed it. But, after taking it to craft beer festivals and just people, the reaction that we got, she's like, wow, I think we need to give this a try, see if it's a business. Beverage business, don't recommend going into it. Crazy difficult, so easy to, lose your life savings. But I felt that, despite everything that I know, I went ahead and did it with this, because I thought, geez, nobody's done this before. It's so unique. And then, I started hearing from people that have, stopped drinking for either health reasons, either like, medical conditions or just health and wellness. And they just like, it's just the passion and, the letters and the people that would just reach out to me and talk about how it's, really been a game changer and improved their life, and all that. And it's just like, wow, this is doing a lot of good for the world. And, we have to do this, we have to put everything in this to spread, to spread this around.
But I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's a theme that's always been important to me, is just this idea of inclusivity, of how to give people something to talk to have in their hand, to talk about, to change that narrative from why aren't you drinking to what are you drinking, and it creates an environment that's far more inclusive and far more engaging, and brings I think it's a narrative that's starting to change. And yeah, I'm happy to be part of it. I'm happy that you're taking a lead and giving people this opportunity. And again, I'll take an example from my previous life in the car industry. Is at first, the first versions of electric cars were, they were almost like a punishment, and then Tesla came along with a totally new concept and just made a great a great vehicle that happened to be electric. And I think you've done something very similar. You've created a great tasting product that happens to be alcohol free, unsweetened, and gluten free, and no calories. That wasn't the objective. That was just the outcome of creating a great tasting product. And I love the idea that the product, that the light bulb moment was all based on taste, smelling the hops and thinking. So that to me is a really cool story, and something that I really hope people are watching this, give it a try. And there's two products, right? There's the original, plus now the new. Well, I'll let you.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, we have our original, which is just hops and water, and and you were talking about the Radler and other fruit flavors, and we started seeing in our local craft breweries that we'd visit, they do a grapefruit IPA, and those were really popular, and somehow grapefruits pair really well with hops, and it tastes really nice, and then so we decided, well, let's give it a try. Maybe somebody would like that. Who knows? We may brew it one batch, but so we came up with the grapefruit hops, and that adds a little bit of organic grapefruit extract to it. And by doing it that way, instead of adding like just juice, it's still 0 calories. And it's been really popular. There's a lot of people that don't just love hops, but they want a special occasion drink. And we also, with hard seltzers right now too, we really feel that our grapefruit, and then we have a new one that's mango, that is just limited release. But those are just great substitutes, non-alcoholic alternatives for hard seltzers. Mm-hmm. And then certainly our hop water, something unique. It's not exactly like a beer, but definitely it scratches that itch. And I think if you taste it, you'll be really surprised how much more refreshing it is. But it's lightly carbonated like a beer, not over carbonated like some sparkling waters. But that's our lineup. So we have our original, grapefruit, and mango.
Limited edition. Well, and check it out. Come on, get on the site, check it out. And I'm telling you, this is going to be, you'll be happy to open this up at the office and enjoy it over lunch. It's a complex, sophisticated, refreshing taste that I know you're going to enjoy. Paul, thank you so much for taking some time to talk to us today.
You bet. Thanks, Dan. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, guys.